Hello, welcome back to All of the Street Fighters, where we're looking at almost every single Street Fighter game in existence. And this time, we're looking at the lord of all Street Fighter games. Well, in my opinion, Marvel vs. Capcom 2's. It's a hugely important game for the Street Fighter series, for the Versus series, more specifically. And it's just, it's widely loved. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I've said this in tons of these videos. For me, it's probably my favourite Capcom fighter. I would say it's definitely top 3, at least. But it's the best versus game. It's the ultimate versus game. It's got 56 characters in it. It's awesome to play. They made loads of really good changes to the gameplay. And I'm going to try and explain why I think it's so good. But yeah, if you haven't watched one of these videos before, we're looking at every Street Fighter game in chronological order. So we started with Street Fighter 1, we've looked at a bunch of the Street Fighter 2s, all the Street Fighter 3s, a bunch of the Versus games, Street Fighter EX games, Street Fighter Alpha games. Go back and watch some of the previous videos, they're all in a playlist. It's been fun, but I'm really excited to finally get to Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Just to get out ahead of it here, we're looking at the Xbox 360 version, which was easier to capture rather than me getting my Dreamcast out, and it's got all of the characters unlocked from the start. So, I mean, as I'll explain, the arcade version and the Dreamcast version, you had to unlock characters in it, but the Xbox 360 and the PS3 versions have all the characters unlocked from the start, so that's why we're capturing from that. Right, characters. Talking of characters. 56 characters. Look at this character roster. It's absolutely ridiculous. I normally kind of list, who's the new characters to this game, and who have we seen before, and what's from what game. I'm not going to do that, because look at them, there's absolutely tons. I'll just talk about some of the really exciting ones, some of which we've seen before and some we haven't seen before. So on the Capcom side, we've obviously got a bunch of Street Fighter characters. You know, we've got Ryu, we've got Ken, we've got Chun-Li, we've got Sakura, M. Bison, we've got Zangief, Dalsim, we've got loads. But we've also got incredible things like Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, which absolutely blew my mind when this game came out. She can like summon in zombies. She can her super move, like she pulls out the bazooka that she uses at the end of Resident Evil 1. Jill Valentine, amazing. We've got a bunch of the Darkstalkers characters like Felicia and BB Hood. What else have we got? We've got Strider. I think we've seen him in one of the previous Versus games. We've got Roll. We've got Mega Man. We've got Servbot from Mega Man Legends, who's like the tiniest character. Really, really fun to play. Tons of just fun Capcom characters. On the Marvel side, we've got, again, lots of characters that we've seen before, from X-Men Children of the Atom to Marvel superheroes to everything in between. So we've got Cyclops, we've got Captain America, we've got Wolverine, we've got Blackheart. We've also got Cable. This is the first time we see Cable. We've got Marrow, we've got Thanos, we've got Venom. I absolutely love playing Venom. He's a bunch of fun. We've got Storm, we've got Spiral, we've got Spider-Man. Just tons and tons and tons. This character roster is unbelievable. So when you sat on your character screen, you're deciding who to play. One of the significant things about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, as opposed to the previous Versus games, is that you pick 3 characters in this game. So they've taken the tag team mechanic one step further. You're no longer picking 2 characters or 2 characters and a support character. You're picking a full team of 3 characters. And you can tag between those characters at will throughout the game. So each match, each round has got 6 characters involved in the fights, which is crazy. So the tagging in and out is fairly different to the previous Versus games. As I said, in the last Versus game we looked at, you just had like a support character that you could call in for little moves. In this one, all 3 characters are full characters, and you've got a new gameplay mechanic in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 called the snapback. And that's a move where you're forcing your opponent to swap their character out. So if they're using a character that you're not comfortable fighting against, or they've swapped out a character because this one's got more health, you can force them. You can do a move that forces them. It throws that character off screen and it pulls in one of their other characters. So that's an amazing mechanic, and it's used absolutely all of the time in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's a real interesting technique. Before talking about things like snapback, we should probably talk about the fact that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a 4-button game. So Street Fighter games are traditionally 6-button. That's 3 punches, 3 kicks. And the previous Versus games have been 6-button games. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 shrinks things down, makes it a 4-button game. Well, it's got 6 buttons, but it's commonly referred to as a 4-button game. So you've got a light punch and a heavy punch, light kick and a heavy kick. And then your other 2 buttons that would traditionally be your medium punches and medium kicks, they're assists. So it's assist 1 and assist 2. So they're fairly self-explanatory. They'll call in a move from one of your other players. You can also hit both of those at the same time to bring in everybody, and everyone does an assist at the same time. So you've got all 3 characters on the screen, all doing their super moves if you've got enough super meter. And various combinations of pressing like punches and kicks together will swap out your characters and do the snapbacks. So they do a lot with those 6 buttons, but it's generally referred to as a 4-button game. One of the reasons they changed that is because Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it's simplified. I was struggling then with using the word simplified, but it is. I think they tried to make the game more accessible to newcomers. I think there was a general sense that fighting games had got very complex. I think at this time, like interest in the genre was probably waning a little. We'd had tons and tons and tons of fighting games, and console games at home were getting to the point where it was all about 3D graphics, and everybody wanted big 3D games, and games like this that were primarily 2D sprites, they just weren't as in vogue. And I think Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was an attempt to bring in a wider audience, and it was massively successful. Like that worked. That totally worked. I think it's one of the reasons why I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people love it. It's big and it's flashy and it's got a big character roster and it's crazy to look at. It's crazy to watch people play. But most importantly, it's just really accessible. You can have fun with it, even if you don't know all these crazy fighting game mechanics and things. You can just have fun picking 3 nuts characters from the whole Capcom universe or the Marvel universe, and just have fun, smashing them against each other. It's just a bundle of fun to play, whether you're a really experienced fighting game player or you're a complete newcomer, and that's one of the huge strengths of the game. So as I said at the beginning of the video, the arcade version, the original arcade version, and the Dreamcast version required you to unlock a lot of these characters. You had a base roster when you started the game, but a load of these characters were secret characters. And in the arcade game, you would like earn experience to unlock them. So you would have your little passport card that you often see if you go to arcades in Japan, and you could save your data on that. So you could save all the characters you'd unlocked. And then with the Dreamcast version, you would like earn a currency, like a points currency, by doing everything in the game, by winning matches, by playing the arcade mode, all sorts of stuff. And then you'd spend those points on unlocking characters. And I absolutely loved that system. I primarily played the Dreamcast version when I was growing up, and the carrot on the stick of unlocking this huge roster, I thought was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. I was a little bit upset recently to plug in my Dreamcast and find that my Marvel vs. Capcom 2 save games were lost on the memory card. They didn't exist anymore. So I would have to start right from the beginning. So I'm tempering me saying that I love the system with thinking, would I want to do that again? Or do I just want to play the Xbox 360 version that's got all of them unlocked from the start? Because they released Marvel vs. Capcom 2 digitally on the Xbox Live Arcade and the PSN store. And this is the version you're looking at here. It's got widescreen support, it's got full HD support, so the backgrounds look lovely and sharp. It's got some graphics filters, which, why would you ever use those graphics filters? They're completely gross. It's got online play, the same online play that we saw in Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. So it's really good netcode. It works well. Well, it did. I can't imagine there's many people playing it anymore. And one of the reasons for that is that Capcom lost the license to a lot of these characters, which means that they can no longer sell the game. So, as always with digital purchases on Xbox Live Arcade or PSN, if you've previously bought the game, like me, if you own the game, you can download it to your heart's content. They can't take those downloads away from you. If you delete it off your console, you can still download it again. But if you're a new purchaser who's never bought it before, you won't be able to find it on the store to buy. It's just not available. So this is a rare commodity now. It wasn't on my Xbox 360 hard drive. I had to go and re-download it from the store, which is great that you can still do that. But yeah, if you don't own this, this isn't something you can just go and buy digitally anymore. But for those of us who did buy it when it came out, I think this is a great version of the game. It looks great. It's got all the characters unlocked, and as I say, it's got online play. So if you've got friends playing it, you can hook up online and play it. So this is a Capcom fighting game that's got tons and tons of important changes, whether it's the 4-button character system, it's the ginormous character roster, it's the simplified gameplay. It's just a brilliant entry to the series. I love it, a lot of people love it, and I think you'll love it too. If you can find a way of playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in 2018, I highly recommend it. Buy yourself a Dreamcast. Buy Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's actually relatively cheap to buy on the Dreamcast. It was such a huge game on that console that they made and they sold tons and tons of copies. So it's not difficult to track down. It's pretty easy. Yeah, track it down, play it, and enjoy it. It's unbelievable. It's a fantastic game. So that's our look at Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes. I've been looking forward to this since we started the series, and I can't believe it's over now. But onto I was going to say onto bigger and better things, but that's not true. Onto bigger things